For most of my adult life, my world was a frantic, one-man circus. The spotlight was the harsh glare of my own ambition, and my only act was juggling. But I wasn't juggling simple balls. I was juggling expectations, deadlines, promises, and the thousand tiny anxieties of a modern life. Each one was a sphere of perfect, shimmering light. The urgent email that arrived at midnight. The project deadline that was always closer than it appeared. The family dinner I was late for. The promise to a friend I forgot to keep. The workout I skipped. The book I wanted to read. My hands were a constant blur of motion, a desperate dance against gravity, and I was a master. I could keep more balls in the air than anyone I knew. I took a secret, perverse pride in the speed of my hands, in my ability to catch, to toss, to keep everything and everyone in motion. I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. It was proof that I was important. It was proof that I was needed. But my mastery was built on a single devastating illusion, a lie I told myself so often that it became the foundation of my reality. In my mind, every single ball was made of priceless, irreplaceable glass. I believed that if I dropped even one, just one, it would shatter on the marble floor of my life. The sound of that imagined shattering was the engine of my panic. The sound of a failed project. The sound of a disappointed client. The sound of a forgotten birthday. The sound of a missed opportunity. To me, they all sounded the same, like the end of the world. So I built my life around this fear. I became a fortress of yes. I learned to sleep less, to eat faster, to listen with half an ear while my mind was calculating the trajectory of the next falling ball. I became a phantom in my own home, a ghost at my own table. My loved ones would speak to me, but I couldn't truly hear them. I was too busy listening to the constant, silent, terrifying clinking of glass on glass in the air around me. I was so focused on the arc of the balls that I could no longer see the faces in the crowd. My hands were skilled, but my heart was numb, and the circus was becoming a prison. The breaking point didn't come with a crash. It came with a quiet, sickening thud. I had been juggling for 36 hours straight, fueled by caffeine and fear. And in a moment of pure human exhaustion, one ball slipped through my tired fingers. But the ball I dropped wasn't a project. It wasn't an email. It was a promise to be there for someone I loved. And the sound it made was not the sharp shatter of glass I had always feared. It was the quiet, heartbreaking sound of a human heart breaking. That silence was louder than any imagined catastrophe. That's when I finally went to see him, the old Maestro, a legendary figure in my industry who had simply walked away at the height of his powers. People whispered that he'd lost his mind. I was beginning to think I was losing mine. I found him in a quiet, sunlit workshop, calmly carving a piece of wood. He listened without interruption as I frantically described my one-man circus, my skill, my exhaustion, my terror of the shattering glass. When he finished, he put down his tools and looked at me with a deep, knowing sadness. "You are a magnificent juggler, one of the best I have ever seen, but you are juggling with the wrong philosophy. You are operating under a devastating illusion." He picked up a small, heavy sphere of polished crystal from his desk. "You believe every ball is made of this," he said, handing it to me. "Glass, fragile, precious, and unforgiving. If you drop this, it will shatter. It will leave scars. It may never be whole again. This," he said, looking me straight in the eyes, "is your health, your family, your integrity, your one true, wild dream. These are the glass balls. There are only a few of them in any given life."
Then he reached into a large chest and pulled out another ball. It looked identical to the first. He tossed it to me. I fumbled, caught it. it was surprisingly light. The truth is, he continued, most of the balls you were juggling are made of rubber. He took it back and, without warning, dropped it on the floor. It hit the wooden boards with a dull, forgiving thud and bounced right back into his hand. My mind went completely silent. In email, he said, bouncing the rubber ball, a client's unreasonable demand, a social obligation you feel guilty about, most deadlines, most worries, most of what we call urgent in our lives is rubber. If you drop it, it will bounce. The project will be a day late, the client will be momentarily annoyed, the world will not end. In fact, you might even find it waiting for you, right where you dropped it, when you're ready to pick it up again. He looked at my pale, shocked face. Your crisis is not that you have too many balls to juggle. Your crisis is that you have forgotten which ones are made of glass. You're giving the same frantic energy to a rubber ball that you give to a glass one. And in doing so, you're risking the very things that can truly shatter. His final words landed with the weight of a dropped anchor. Your task is not to learn how to juggle more. It is to sit in the quiet, away from the circus, and for the first time, truly know the weight and substance of each ball you hold. That conversation changed everything. I went home, and for the first time, I stopped juggling. I let all the balls fall. They landed around me, a silent circle of my obligations and fears, and I began to sort them. This one, the urgent client request, I held it. It felt light, rubber. This one, the need to have the last word in a pointless argument, rubber. This one, the pressure to maintain a perfect online image, so much rubber. But then, this one, my health, the sleep I had been sacrificing, the exhaustion that had become my personality, I held it in my mind. Its weight was different. It didn't bounce. It was glass. This one, a quiet, uninterrupted evening with my family, with no phone in sight, fragile, beautiful, iridescent glass. And this one, the forgotten dream I had, tucked away in a dusty corner of my heart, a ball of spun glass, so delicate I had been afraid to even touch it for years. The first time I intentionally let a rubber ball fall was the most terrifying and liberating moment of my life. An email went unanswered for a few hours. A request was met with a polite, "Not right now." I braced for the shatter, but all I heard was that dull, forgiving thud, and the ball bounced. The world did not end. So I let more fall, and with every rubber ball I let drop, my hands became freer. My focus became clearer. My life is no longer a circus. The frantic juggling has stopped. Now I simply hold 2 or 3 delicate glass balls in my hands. I give them my full attention, my care, my love. I carry them with a gentle, deliberate grace. Sometimes a rubber ball bounces by, and if my hands are free, I might catch it and toss it once. But I never, ever mistake it for glass again. Your life is not a performance to be perfected. It is a treasure to be protected. The noise of the circus will always try to convince you that every task is a crisis, that every ball is made of glass. Don't listen. Stop juggling everything and start protecting what is truly irreplaceable.